Did you have a great Superman day? Because I certainly did. I was watching Look Up into the Sky, the amazing story of Superman, the science of Superman, the mythology of Superman. I listened to the Superman soundtracks. I had a really good Superman day. But something we got, because I told you we'd get something, not a trailer, but something. And we got some brilliant BTS footage, and I loved it. And I want us to rewatch it and talk about it and talk about the fundamental problem of not releasing the main trailer on a Superman day and how they're hiding this movie. And if, James Gunn's created some mystique with this movie because nobody really knows, apart from some online leaks, what this film is going to be. And is that going to be something that hampers the box office of this movie? Let's get into it. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. You can follow me on X, Twitter at Movies TV Mad X, and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad X, on TikTok, Mad Mickey's World, and on Snapchat, BMouth60. Mick, your host with the most. So welcome to Saturday's, Easter Saturday's edition of the DCU Daily. So let's watch this together as Superman fans and see what we made of it.
Being a child, I loved the purity of Superman. It was a time when I was starting to understand what movies were.
James didn't know that Superman was in his future. He wasn't sure that that was the one he should be doing. And then he called me one day and he said, I have a way in. I know what I want to talk about.
I had been trying to crack it for years. This character is noble and he's beautiful.
We just finished day one on Superman.
And it's been a hell of a week at the office. His scripts are so unique, his stories, they're heartfelt.
You know, we love the opportunity to play with the incredible DC library of characters and stories, and we really want to do justice for them.
Welcome to the Daily Planet. It's been so much fun to have you getting together finally.
Why are my trunks on the outside of my pants? It's liberating. James in his stories, he does it with heart.
Superman is a character who's good.
Who is filled with hope. He saves people because it's the right thing to do. We could use a little bit more of that.
Superman was my original superhero, and it started on in comics, and I think it's going to be a game changer.
This is the beginning of the future. They are launching a new era right now.
It's the beginning of a whole new adventure and a whole new universe.
We're just getting started, and we're already deep in the DC universe. In James Gunn we trust, and I think we can do it.
I personally think that BTS footage was outstanding, and it did exactly what you wanted it to do. Get you hyped for the movie, the way Gunn and Saffron and everyone spoke about the movie, spoke about the character, and it's very, very interesting. And we saw a few things. We saw James Gunn sitting in a spaceship, and we saw a couple of new things, but mainly stuff that we've already seen. It seems that Gunn is quite comfortable with us seeing the moment in the snow, the fortress, the robots, the Daily Planet, that bit when Clark and Superman, not Clark and Superman, that Superman and Lois are holding hands when all that hell is breaking loose outside. So there's certain things that they've already shown us that they're happy to keep on showing us. And as I say, it was great. And I mean, they spent the most of yesterday trying to sell merch to us, right? I get it. It's a business. I get it. I believe it was a fundamental mistake not to release the main trailer yesterday, because what I felt after seeing that wonderful BTS footage, imagine if that was an epic 3-minute trailer. We are, what, just under 3 months away from the release of this movie, and they have to amp up the marketing. The posters are beautiful. I saw one beautiful poster yesterday of David Cronsworth in the costume, and I really liked that as well. But ultimately, and this is very, very important to say, that's all great, but we need to see what this film is. And I repeat myself, we know the premise and synopsis of every movie coming out this summer. Apart from Superman, we literally don't know what this film truly is. I'm not talking about spoilers. I'm talking about a premise, right? We know what this new Jurassic World Rebirth movie is doing. It's going back to the beginning and trying to take the fans back to the original movie and the spirit of what Spielberg created in that first movie. And every summer movie has been very open about what it is. Fantastic Four, for example. That's a great example. We know what that movie is. It's a standalone, a part of the multiverse, nothing to do with the MCU. It's its own world. That's been explained to us by the director. I think it's Matt Shackman, right? The world is destroying, Galactus is coming maybe, and, Silver Surfer's there. That's the threat. We get what's going on. We do, apart from leaks, we have no clue about what this movie is. And as I said on the top of the show, there's this mystique about Superman, as there was for Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. I remember the teaser. They barely showed us anything. It was very, very mysterious. But this is a Superman movie. Fans are divided. You've got the Snyder fans dripping their propaganda and poison, and it's working. They're doing a very good job in doing it. A lot of the things I agree with, some of the things I don't agree with, right? Again, I'm an objective person. You have to accept that or we can't be friends. So you've got that side of it. You've got other DC fans. Grace Randolph did a video where she was reacting to the footage, the BTS footage, and saying that, and basically, she as she says it, giving out the tea, she said she's heard that the movie is very, very light. This is not groundbreaking. We knew this is what the studio wanted. This is the aesthetic and tone that Gunn was always going for. When people were saying to me, Mick, will Superman wear the trunks in this movie before we saw the costume? I said, absolutely. They're going back to traditional Superman, lighter Superman. But in the teaser, to be fair, we never saw him smiling. That is interesting. But from everyone I talked to who's seen the test screenings of this film, it's a lighter movie. There's a lot of humour in this movie. But hey, let's calm down a bit. Humour and a lighter tone isn't a bad thing. This was never going to have the same tone as Man of Steel. I've heard a lot of things about this film, that it's episodic. And I mean, it's interesting because one of the actors, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Nicholas Hoult, talking about stories. Because we've heard it's a very episodic film. So that's interesting that Nick was talking about stories in plural. That's very, very interesting. Could it be like that? A weird kind of one story to the other. We did a video, didn't we? I was talking about maybe this is going to be a Pulp Fiction kind of episodic movie. That would be interesting. But I don't know. Because I don't know what this movie is. Because the synopsis is very, very stingy. It doesn't give away much. It's a very secretive movie. And people can be leaking information about test screenings, but here's the thing. The edit will dictate what this movie is. You're seeing unedited movies or movies that are being, different versions of this movie that's being edited in different ways. The final edit of this movie is key. One of the key components to what a movie is the edit, right? If I do this video now, right, and I give you the middle finger, right, and I say someone's name, it's not going to go well. But if I do another edit where I go, oh my God, and I mention the same name, you're an amazing person, there's a different tone to that. So what's key to the movie, to any television show, is how it's put together and how it's edited. Editing is key. And they could edit certain things out that people have seen in the test screenings. I've made a fool of myself with test screenings before. I've gone and watched them. I've done videos. Obviously you can't give stuff away, but I've had a positive vibe or a negative vibe. But because the edit's different by the time they release it in cinemas, it's either a lot worse than I said it was, or it's a lot better. So you've always got to be careful of test screenings. So really, that doesn't really tell us anything, because it could be things, big things, that they cut out. We're hearing rumours about 20 minutes being cut from the movie. That changes everything. But I don't know. I don't know if they're hiding this movie because they're worried about it, or because they don't want to give away the secrets. Now, I hope it's the latter. I hope there's so many secrets in this movie, and that's why they're hiding it. What I'm seeing, what I saw in the teaser, what I saw in that BTS footage, it excites me. I must admit, it really, really does excite me. And I think this could be a really, really good movie. It could also be a very bad movie. I simply don't know, because I haven't seen the movie. And that's the beauty. That kind of the context. It's about context, everyone. I just said on a previous video where I spoke about Doctor Who, context is important. You can hate one thing about a movie, but love the rest of the things. I mean, I mostly love everything about Man of Steel, but there's a couple of bits where I kind of think, I wouldn't have done that shot like that, or things like that, nitpicks, right? But I still love the movie. It doesn't change how I see it. When I watched Superman 78, the first movie I ever saw, I adore that movie. But there's a couple of shots that I would have done differently. I've always been a bit, him turning time back, if that was done these days, poor Dick Donner and Tom Mankiewicz would have been slaughtered. But these are nitpicks at the end of the day. As I say, the best thing I can do for myself as a Superman fan, and for you guys as Superman fans and DC fans, is watch the movie on release. It'll be on Wednesday and Thursday. It'll be before the 11th. So the first showings are normally at 5 in the evening. So I'm going to watch that, and then I'm going to sit there and watch probably the next one will be 8 p.m. So I'm going to watch 2 showings back to back, so to get everything in my mind. Don't know if I've mentioned this before, probably have. And then I'm going to wait to the following day to record my review. So I've let 2 back-to-back viewings sink in. I don't want to be reactive, right, with this one. I want to be so measured. I think that's not just right for me as a Superman fan, but for James and everyone who's worked on this movie, and the fans in general. Because I want to be informative, I want to be honest, and I don't want to have an agenda. There's too many people when it comes to DC and this movie who have got ulterior motives, and that's what this platform isn't about and what I'm not about. And it will never be that way. And if you don't like that, you're going to have to leave. It's not an echo chamber. I'm not here for one set of narratives against the other. You know me by now. I'm wearing this top because I love DC and I love Superman and I love television and I love film. And I want stuff. I genuinely want stuff to be good. Unlike some, I'm not praying for this film to be bad, and I'm not praying for this film to be a disaster. I know some people are, and if you are, that's up to you. I don't judge you. I don't judge anyone. But I want it to be good, and I want it to be successful if it deserves to be successful. The worst thing that could happen here is a crap movie and it's successful. That's no good for anyone, right? The character, DC, no one. So it's interesting. So I love the BTS. I love, I think that was Mr. Terrific's ship that Gunn was sitting in the BTS, and that looks interesting as well. So he has got a ship. It is in the movie. That's also exciting because Superman's got his Fortress of Solitude, and Mr. Terrific has got his spaceship. So it's quite exciting because you've got this story about Superman, but they're using these metahumans as well. It's just another highlight. It's just another string to the movie's bow. I don't think they're going to overuse these characters, and that's what the leaks to me have said on the test screenings. They're not overused. They are characters in this film, like Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, and Perry White are. I like that bit in the BTS when David is hugging the the actor who plays Jimmy Olsen. I hope that's the kind of relationship and friendship they've got in the movie. But we wait for this main trailer. That's what I'm really, really waiting to see right now.